an interesting and unique design from Baseus. This is a 67 watts USB-C GaN charger with an integrated 4K 30 Hz HDMI output. It essentially replaces three items: the USB-C hub, the 65 watts USB-C charger from Apple, which is not gallium nitride, and a 20 watts USB-C charger from Apple. Additionally, it also features a data connection with the USB Type-A port. I'm going to show you what it's capable of and some tips and tricks I found out. It is actually a bit more powerful than the Baseus advertised. First thing you notice is that it features this flood plug, which is ideal for travel or using it in the hotel. It's non-blocking, can be used behind the sofa, and it also features this 45-degree angle. When it's connected, it's always consuming 1.1 or 1.2 watts standing by. That's idle power draw. And it comes with a thick 100 watts rated data cable, USB 3, in the form of USB-C to USB-C. So based on its user manual, the USB Type-C and Type-C 1 and 2 ports are identical in terms of output when connecting to the load. In this case, I'm using a 16 inches MacBook Pro with Retina display M1 Pro chip, and it's drawing 55 and 60 watts, 65 watts verified. And it will go all the way up to 72 watts and more. You will see later. So that's when it's charging the MacBook Pro. The Type-C 2 is the same, but I would recommend using the USB Type-C 2 port when you are charging multiple devices. For example, if I want to charge the iPad Pro 11-inch, as you can see currently, the power consumption is 71.8 watts. When connecting the second device, the charger will reset, and the power distribution will be different. It will reset, so the power goes to 0, then it's going to be redistributed as 45 watts for USB-C 2 and 20 watts for USB-C 1. If the connection is reversed, the power output will reduce. So for the black cable goes into MacBook Pro, it's going to be 20 watts only. And then for the iPad Pro, it's the maximum power consumption is 30 watts. So it's 50 watts combined, and it's not really optimum. So therefore, I highly recommend, if you're getting this, highly recommend using the USB-C 2 for charging higher power consumption devices and small devices like an iPad or iPhone with the USB Type-C 1 output. Okay, and then we got the 4K output. I have a 4K portable monitor here from KYY with its HDMI connection here. Oh, all right. And then its power supply is going to be the USB Type-A port. In this setup, the rated power output from this USB-A port is only 2 watts. However, it still is able to power the KYY 4K monitor just fine. Let me power on my laptop, and you will see the 4K output over here. And the power consumption may go up to 78 watts in some cases. For some reason, it's not connected. Let me check. Reconnecting. I don't think that cable was fully plugged in. Okay, I made sure everything is plugged in nice and tight. Now the 4K connection is available. And the brightness is 84%. the total power output goes up to 82.6 watts. It is much higher than its rated 67 watts, even considering the power loss, right? The conversion loss. And the USB Type A port here, I think it may exceed 5 watts. Let me connect this charger and this power meter in the middle so we can see the USB Type A output. And this setup is great for Nintendo Switch because the Switch would require a huge amount of power. So hold on, let me zoom in even more. That's 5 volts. Yeah, it's 2.5 amps. And I think, well, it's not as powerful as I thought, although it is only rated as 2 watts. I'm getting 2.5 watts, but the monitor is bright enough, and keep in mind it's a 4K monitor. And I can use my MacBook in this extended mode, so I can drag the windows across different screens. Yeah. Again, it replaces these 3 devices with additional USB Type A output. This cable is not user replaceable though. I wish it has replaceable cable so I can use a longer cord. This thing is 5 feet long, which should be good enough if I travel in a hotel. And with a longer USB-C cable, I should be able to cover like a 10 feet radius. And again, I really appreciate the form factor, which is pretty flat and close, sitting more, as close to the wall as possible, so it's non-blocking. For US household standard AC receptacles, I can easily accommodate 2 of these chargers. And this form factor is no stranger to us, right? Baseus has a lot of these 65 watts, 100 watts chargers with AC receptacles around it to extend its functionality. But in this case, it's a data port. So if I'm not using this USB Type A output to power this monitor, I can use a USB-A condenser microphone or connect a USB drive to read data. So it's more about data connection. And keep in mind, you have to use the included cable or some other cable that you know that supports data transfer, because some cables are USB-C to USB-C cables are just data, just power only. This one delivers both data and power. And make sure you use a high quality cable if you want to get a longer one. Make sure it is compatible with this kind of data transfer rate. USB 3 at least. A Thunderbolt 4, 3 should definitely work. Yeah, so I highly recommended for travel. So my laptop would be able to get sufficient power supply. But in this case, the MacBook Pro would be able to take in 100 watts. This is less than what it's rated for, but it will just slowly charge. But with this setup, I'm not really worried about additional USB-C hubs. Especially if your MacBook or other modern laptops with a Chromebook, for example, does not have a HDMI output, then this is a great option for that. And it will be able to charge other devices like phones or an iPad. All right, hope you find this review helpful. Thank you very much for watching.